Well, here's the grid then for this Hawthorne Trophy race. And on pole number 49, Ivo Gurkman with the Jolas. Second is 37, Andrew Taylor, the Cooper T56. And in third place, 31, Robert Barry with his Lotus 18. Row 2 is 71, James Hicks with the locally built Caravel. And then we've got 18, Dan Collins with the Chapman family's personal Lotus 18. The third row, great effort from 39, Ian Rowley with the Kieft Ford of Michael Waller, the ex-Lionel Moment car on row 3, with 14, Crispian Besley with his ex-Works Cooper 56, and 52, Martin Aubert with his Lotus 20. Row 4 is 20, Lance Whitehead, Lotus 20, and 66, Alex Morton with the rare Osper T3. Then we have on row 5, 81, Steve Futter with the ex-Gagan Lotus 20. 27, James Owen with the Elva BMC 200, local man from Chichester. And then 9, Andrew Hayden with the Envoy Mark II, a unique car, I believe. 33 is Pat Barford with the Fiat-powered De Sanctis. He's on row 6 with 95. Anthony Goddard, the Isle of Wight brewer, with his Tajiro Ford. Row 7 is 40, Chris Wilkes with the Deep Sanderson DS104. 30, Trevor Griffiths with the Emerson that was late away from the assembly area. And 35, Tim Bishop going well with the DKW powered Sauter. Row 8, now Tim Bishop appears on both rows, which is a bit strange. Row 8, let's have a look. It should be Pierre Guichard in 38, the Faccioli, and Andy Prill next up, but it's all gone a bit sort of haywire down the grid order. I've got an amended grid, and this appears to be the original one they're putting up. So we'll go down the order. 38, Pierre Guichard, Faccioli. 88, Andy Prill. 34, Christopher Scoli with his Envoy. 60 is David Drew with the Ram. 41, Peter Fenichel with the Cooper. 149, Mike Gregory with the Di Tommaso. 93, Rudolph Ernst with the PBA. 42, Jeremy Dealey, who had battery problems in his Cooper. 85, Sir John Chisholm, who will be worth watching from the back, who had electrical issues with his Gemini. And 87, Andrew Wilkinson with the Lynx. So let's just see if they all make it
We've
through.
got 4 non-starters. Wilson in the Volpini had a brake master cylinder go. Roach's Condor, camshaft drive to the engine, failed. Cooper of Besley needs a new head gasket, and Wilkinson's Lynx has got internal damage to its gearbox,
but is there, I'm pleased to say.
Fixed.
Yeah.
That's quick, isn't it?
That's a super effort from the team there. So it's a shame that the Volpini Lancia that promised so much had those problems.
Did John Chisholm have problems in the
Yes, he did.
Gemini?
He had electrical problems, and so he starts from the back. The Condor, I can say, is a cam drive, isn't it? Yeah. You can hear the ring of those 2-stroke DKWs over the rest.
Do they have to mix oil with the fuel like we did with our
yeah,
motorbike?
Yeah, absolutely. Crispian Besley, watch for that that Cooper that had say the overheating, change a head gasket. That's a great field of juniors.
There's been some rapid repair work, hasn't there?
And there'll be 1 or 2 guys coming through the field well. I'm a little bit surprised at the way the 85 Gemini of Sir John Chisholm is lined up at a jaunty angle at the back of the grid.
But they've got a warm-up lap, haven't they?
Yes, to sort themselves out. That should be all okay. Electrical issues with that car. So there's the warm-up lap. They're getting away. .42 Jeremy Dealey's Cooper at the back of the had a battery problem this morning, and that's all down to our Formula Junior Sage.
The Lynx had a gearbox problem. They've gone all the way to Somerset, got a spare gearbox, brought it back and fitted it.
Really, that's a fantastic
incredible effort, isn't it?
You always wonder if there's a spare gearbox at home why you don't bring it with you. Yeah. And we used to bring it with him, says Peter Jackson. Well, he'll bring it in future, that's for sure. Yeah. Okay, so little Formula Junior cars then. These the drum-braked cars from the sort of middle era of Formula Junior. Last year we had a front-engined race here.
Interesting that Colin Chapman, who rather scorned anything old because he was always looking for something new, found a Lotus 18 and bought it back. And that's the car that Dan Collins is racing.
The only Lotus he ever bought, apparently. The Jolus then leading the way.
Is the Jolus unique? Or was there only one?
Yeah.
Built where?
In Australia.
Australia.
Yeah. Faccioli looking very nice down there. And also the Ram there, number 60, Dr. David Drew. Best of the Fiat powered cars. It appears to be Pat Barford's De Sanctis. Another of the family marks in Italy. And very well represented in this field. The Deep Sanderson qualified well up in the middle. Advised by Chris Lawrence of Morgan fame. One of 3 drivers to win 9 races in the history of the members meetings.
He built a lot of mini-based racing cars, didn't he?
He did.
Deep Sanderson.
Yeah, absolutely. Took them to Le Mans. Had one with the Martin V8 in it as well. But the top winners over the years here, Chris Lawrence scored 9 in Morgans exclusively. Michael Head scored 9, Cooper Jaguar D-Type and a saloon car as well, the Zephyr. And Doc Murphy with his various Fords, Anglias, Cortinas and things.
We're hoping to welcome Patrick Head into the commentary box.
Absolutely.
Sometime this weekend. It'd be a delight to meet up with Patrick again.
Yep. Great to see the Caravelle going so well. James Hicks hasn't raced that for a while. They've rebuilt it over the winter for this event. Of course, his father, Bob, built it to a design by Richard Utley, who's still around, and the Kieft has been going really well with Ian Rowley.
The Auspa's an elegant car, isn't it?
It certainly is. Tom Hawke's design. So the guys come down to the back of the grid. Andrew Wilkinson with that spare gearbox in the Lynx. Very, very pretty car. 85 to John Chisholm will go well, and 42 Jeremy Dealey. And a great start by both Wilkinson and Chisholm. And Wilkinson squeezing his way through the middle. It's all pretty hectic going up towards the first corner, and they're jostling position. The Osprey, the bright green Osprey with a gold noseband of Alex Morton, is in 4th place by the looks of things. The Jolus leads, which is Gurkman. In 2nd place looks like Taylor at the moment. Then it's Robert Barry. Then it's after a great start, the Osprey up into 4th. O'Bear appears to be 5th. There's Dan Collins in the middle. 71 is the Caravelle, which is Hicks. The red Cooper is that of Crispian Besley, and then a gap back to Ian Rowley.
Well, talking of gaps, there's a gap from 4th place back to 5th. No one touching Ivo Gurkman at the front, though, as he leads way in grid order from Andrew Taylor, Robert Barry, and then that amazingly good start from car 66, the Osprey. You can see the brighter green one behind them. 71 trying to make up a bit of ground in the Caravelle. That's James Hicks. Wasn't the best of starts from him, but job done from the outset for Ivo Gurkman. There he is in the unusual Jolus, that high front end, if you will, of the 49, and he leads his way through the kinks down out of Lavend.
Yeah, and this is absolutely fantastic, fantastic Formula Junior racing, and there's some jostling for position. These first 4 together, the Jolus, quite a wide line through Woodcote Corner. That's Gurkman, but he's got an advantage of 3 or 4 car lengths over Andrew Taylor in 37. Robert Barry in 31 is on your screen. He's in 3rd place. 4th is Morton, and he is in the Osprey. Terrific start for him. Now Robert Barry coming up to challenge Andrew Taylor into Majvik Corner, dives up the inside, but Andrew Taylor has the momentum to keep him going strongly around the outside. Morton still in 4th and hanging in there. 5th is Collins, 6th is Hicks, 7th is Besley, 8th is Aubert, 9th is Rowley, and then Whitehead.
There's a car.
Interesting one. That was 71 running wide out of Madwick, kicking up the dirt.
Car going very slowly at
Is that Andrew Wilkinson?
No, it's a white car, isn't it, down there?
Well, I can tell you what.
A couple of cars in trouble down at Woodcote, in fact.
No trouble at all for the Jonas, and that's pulling clear by, and it was 85 apparently.
John
there we
Chisholm
have on screen.
Yeah, John Chisholm out of the race.
Oh, it's not his day, is it? He had to start down at the back, but the driver who's enjoying this race most of all is Ivo Gerkman, pulling clear as the Cooper of Taylor just holds off Robert Barry's Lotus behind them. They should, on speed, be able to drop the little Osper, and they are. Don't forget the Osper, number 66, started 10th, got up to 4th on the first lap. You do expect him to work his way backwards as Robert Barry makes a move, makes it stick as they charge down 11th straight towards Woodcote. So the Lotus up into second place.
Watch Bruce for number 87, Andrew Wilkinson, started at the back, is up to 11th place on the first lap.
Now, can the Lotus 18 make up ground on the Jolas?
Well, we've got Besley and Collins making up ground towards the Osper. Whitehead in the middle of all that, and with Aubert and Whitehead, Ian Rowley in that group, Steve Futter there too, and also 27, the Elva of James Owen, who was racing in Australia a couple of weekends ago. Saw him down there. But it's Gerkman by 2 seconds now, 2.1 seconds from Barry. So Robert Barry moving up to challenge, former UK champion.
Well, you talked watching for Andrew Wilkinson with that hastily de-Somersetted gearbox. 11th on the first lap from the back of the grid, up to 7th last time around. So really spectacular drive. His next target is Dan Collins, the blue and yellow checky helmet. But he's got about 3 or 4 seconds to make up to catch him, and Wilkinson now goes past me at St Mary's. So what can anyone do about Ivo Gerkman? Robert Barry will be leading the chase, and it's pretty much nose to tail the whole way down the order, with the exception of that 49 Jonas, way clear, 2 seconds clear last time around.
Gerkman has the fastest lap, by the way, 1:32.32, and 32.3 in qualifying, so not down to those qualifying times yet. You wouldn't expect him to be either. It's fearsomely chilly out there, as you will all know, ladies and gentlemen, and you can see them all coming through chicane up past the pits. Gerkman from Barry, from Taylor, and then in 4th place still Mawson, going very, very well. 5th is Besley, 6th is Collins. Wilkinson behind. Wilkinson fastest lap, a 1:31.71. That's sub-pole.
Well, there's an explanation. That car just looks so small and so tiny.
Gorgeous, isn't it?
Isn't it the best in the field? Is Andrew Wilkinson fairly short? Because it looks as though you have to be very small to put in that.
He's got a very long nose. Maybe his legs protrude a long way forward.
Oh, the car had no right. But the Jonas leading the race does look absolutely nailed down. I'd suggest that Robert Barry's getting that little bit closer in second place.
Yeah, former UK champion.
And in turn, Crispin
a locked wheel for the Jonas at Lavant.
Starting to feel the pressure. Someone who's really taking it to the ragged edge is the Caravelle with James Higgs. He had a big twitch coming through St Mary's. He's already run off the track about 2 laps ago, went onto the grass and had to sort of calm down, but he's certainly doing his absolute utmost to catch up with those ahead of him.
And Barry is certainly getting closer to the Jonas, to Gerkman. No wheel locking this time.
Wilkinson's about half a second or so quicker than the race leader. Yes, Barry is closing, as you say.
There's a yellow flag being waved at the chicane.
What's happened there? Trying to see.
35 off.
Yes, that's the DKW Sauter. 1.3 between first and second place now.
Wilkinson up to
closing.
6th place.
Taylor still 3rd, Morton still 4th, Besley 5th, and Wilkinson.
You know, there is still time, 13.5 minutes remaining, and Wilkinson is closing by 2 or 3 seconds a lap, and he's only 7 and a bit seconds down on the race leader. Yeah,
so that central exhaust plug-in, that's the fairground rocket, isn't it? He dives down the inside of Crispy and Besley, in the X-Works Cooper that races at home in the red bodywork and abroad in British Racing green. Very exciting stuff. And Wilkinson in that Lynx is flying.
It's a tidy little car, isn't it?
Right behind the Osper. And it's bright. Look at the difference in frontal area between those two cars. Wilkinson round the outside of the Osper on the kink, and he's made another place up down towards Woodcote Corner. He's braking very smoothly down the middle of the circuit. He carries a lot of speed through the first apex. There's 87, Andrew Wilkinson. This is exciting stuff. Ivo Gerkman continues to lead, being waved past by
I think he's stretched out a little bit. 1.57 seconds ahead at the moment.
Wilkinson up into fourth place, another fastest lap at 1:30.053, a fabulous fastest lap.
And now up into third place.
Yeah, he does look, I know these cars are only a couple of years apart, but he does look as though he's racing a car from a different formula. It's so much smaller and lower, and he's just picking off. Don't worry, the one he just passed there is a tail ender. That's Rudolf Ernst in the 93 PBA DKW. Wouldn't have a hope in 1,000 days of keeping up with these front runners, but fabulous drive from Wilkinson. He started at the back of the grid, don't forget, ladies and gentlemen, number 87 now in third place. He's just at the start of this lap deposed the 37 Cooper that started from the middle of the front row.
And he can see ahead of him the two cars are his prey, and he knows he's closing on them hand over fist. There are the first two. There's the third one, Wilkinson.
Less than 5 seconds splitting them. And
the two cars go off together. That's Steve Futter in 81. I think it was Lance Whitehead in the other, the red Lotus.
They were fighting over ninth place. Good little battle it was.
Wilkinson again, fastest 2 sectors.
This is more than doable. There's Ivo Gerkman. He's
dropped Barry quite considerably.
Yeah, Gerkman though, personal best at 31, a new fastest lap, and that's going down to second place now. Wilkinson at Madgwick Corner. He's taken Barry. He's going to win this one, you know. Look at those times, 1:29.551.
You know what, he's probably driving almost as fast as his crew were to go down to Somerset to get that gearbox.
You look at the front of that car with that sort of black little red nose. Looks like the front of the Waddington's Formula 1 box, doesn't it? Absolutely beautiful. Yes, breakwear, exactly. Super stuff. Well, Ivo Gerkman's got his work cut out now.
10 minutes to go.
And the hard thing for Gerkman, he'd been used to the fact that his position relative to Barry and before him Taylor behind him. And he won't have known about Wilkinson coming up from the back unless there was some very clever pit board work. He'd have been minding his own pace, and now suddenly he's got a horrible, horrible surprise.
This is the moment between Steve Futter and Lance Whitehead. Whitehead up the inside.
Ooh.
And yes, a good tangle of wheels. Rear right of Futter's car, front left of Whitehead's. They both go up into the grass. The Faccioli and around two Italian cars there, followed by Scoli's Envoy. Scoli's sitting bubbling out of the Envoy as leader goes past, and that's Ivo Gerkman, who's in traffic at Madgwick Corner. And there's Andrew Wilkinson making up the time. He's gone past the Envoy. He's got the white Jolus in his sights. He's gone past one of the Italian cars. He's got the Ram of Dr. David Drew to negotiate. He's through that car down towards the kink. He can clearly see the race leader ahead of him, and he'll instinctively know, even if he hasn't seen his pit boards, that the only other really quick car is the one ahead of him.
Well,
and
running
Wilkinson
all the way to the outside of the circuit.
Very
wide indeed. Maybe he's suddenly feeling tired. He's gained 24 places, Andrew Wilkinson.
But did he carry more speed, Bruce? He might have carried more speed.
He could have done, but he was dicing with danger right on the outside of the circuit there at St Mary's. But he's been carrying more speed everywhere. His last lap was 2 and a bit seconds faster than the Jonas, and now he's right right behind it, looking left, looking right, is Ivo Gerkman. He's now finally spotted. Now he can get to look at it because it's in front of him.
He's
taking
past.
the lead. What an astonishing drive in the links.
Brilliant stuff. This rate's among the great drives we've seen at Goodwood in revivals or members meetings. It's a superb effort and a great team effort, having had that gearbox failure this morning.
But Gerkman's fighting back, isn't he?
Absolutely.
Well, into the chicane, but I mean, okay, he didn't really get to see the approach. Right, it's interesting how much better his traction was out of the chicane there, so job not yet done for Wilkinson, but we've seen him lapping 2-3 seconds a lap faster for the last handful of laps. He's taken the lead. I'm sure he'll be able to hold on to it, but Gerkman's showing he's not giving up. Also, that battle for third place far from over. We still have 7 and a bit minutes remaining, and Barry is being closed on by Andrew Taylor. Robert Barry may be able to hold on in the Lotus, but he's under a lot of pressure.
Yep, Gerkman hanging on there, but you can see the massive frontal area of the Jolas in comparison to the links.
All I'm hoping is that they don't get troubled by back markers. It's a great little battle. You do feel that Andrew Wilkinson in the 87 links has got the legs, but it'd be a shame for such a drive from the back of the field to be compromised. A lock up there from the Jolas. Problem for 87, maybe a gearbox problem.
He's got a problem.
That's maybe why he was so slow out of the chicane. Well spotted, Mr. Druitt.
It's all changed round the other way now, and the Jolas is back ahead. Wilkinson's got it all to do again.
Do you think he missed a gear and now he's got it back again?
I worry that it is more gearbox problem for number 87. What a drive. He does deserve to be rewarded for such a charge from the back. Maybe he can do it all over again, but maybe this gearbox, maybe it is a gearbox problem, because he certainly lost a lot of ground through the chicane last time.
And same again. Maybe he's having to go through the chicane in a higher gear than he would like to.
I think he's missing a gear somewhere, quite possibly.
So, as it stands, Gerkman leads the race from Wilkinson, 49 from 87, 1.5 seconds between them, and it is
a grassy excursion there at Madgwick on lap 10 for Wilkinson. He had to go round one of the cars.
Well, Andrew Taylor in the 4th place is getting closer and closer to Robert Barry in the Lotus in 3rd, so that's far from settled. But if there's a gearbox problem that makes itself worse for Wilkinson, they could be going back into 2nd and 3rd. But Wilkinson looked fine as he came past me at St Mary's.
Hicks has done well to make up ground after an indifferent start.
He's been super spectacular. He's had a couple of big moments, one off the circuit going through Madgwick, lost a bit of ground, lots of momentum. A twitch through St Mary's when he was pressing that little bit too hard trying to catch up, but he does have good speed.
Look at these lap times. A 30 for Gerkman last time round was his personal best, which is interesting. And he's within striking distance of that fastest lap that Andrew Wilkinson set earlier in the race. Wilkinson trying to come back and a better line into the chicane. I think we perhaps sensed a slight lock-up from Wilkinson there, but he's trying to carry as much speed as he can. Gerkman, meanwhile, goes past I think it's Lance Whitehead's Lotus, which is very fast in a straight line, I note, and he tucks across Gerkman to the outside. Just another car to get through the inside of the red Lotus comes the Lynx, and he's got the PBA to go around as well with the German flag across its nose.
Well, on the start-finish line, the gap between 1st and 2nd, 1.067 seconds. On the screens, you can see the Jonas White with the black stripe up the middle, going past yet more back markers as he comes down towards St Mary's, and stuck behind this duo of back markers, unfortunately, is Andrew Wilkinson, so he'll lose more time as he started to recover.
Peter Fenichel ahead of him.
So it looks as though the race had gone away from the Jonas, and now for Ivo Gerkman, the pole sitter, it's coming back his way, and certainly it's not been a dream 2 or 3 laps for Andrew Wilkinson after all that hard work to go from the very back up into the lead of the race.
Yeah, fabulous drive, but he's through the group of cars. Got the Envoy Mark II ahead of the Jolas there, coming down through the kink. That's during lappery.
And we've had that change of position to 3rd place. Robert Barry in the Lotus has gone back past Andrew Taylor, so a very handy lap for him. Now into the final 3 minutes or so of this race. The gap between 1st and 2nd, a shade over 1 second between the Jolas, and I think it should be larger this time around, because certainly the traffic favoured Girkman in the race leading Jolas, and Andrew Wilkinson only lost to a 1.5 seconds.
They're both Australian cars, aren't they, out front? The Jolas and the Lynx, which is interesting. I have a feeling that Ron Toronek was involved somewhere down the line with the Lynx. It's absolutely beautiful.
Oh yes, he was. He designed it.
Ron Toronek, who I saw at Phillip Island a couple of weeks ago, now 90.
Is he really?
Yeah. And still in very good form, although slowing down naturally.
Yeah.
Flew down from Sydney to be at the track, which is a couple of hours east of Melbourne.
Okay, here's an interesting one, gentlemen. Andrew Wilkinson has just set the fastest first sector of the race. Has he left it too late? Can he fight back to the Jonas?
He's got this lap and the next.
Indeed, he has.
He's close.
He is close.
He's closed right in.
Was he toying
with us?
Was he having a rest?
Maybe he did the drive down to Somerset. But right onto the tail of Ivo Girkman, who must be thinking, good grief, I thought I had this race won. You come up, you pass me. No, you've done it again.
Round the outside on the king.
Now, if he has lost a gear out of the chicane, it'll be a battle to the finishing line.
It will.
Well, I really hope that Henry Hope Frost gets hold of him pretty quickly afterwards to find out whether he wins or not, so we can find out what was going on. We can see exactly what's happening for Ivo Girkman, driving very hard, but again, Chris, he pulls right in on him and into the chicane, and will accelerate harder.
Yeah, he's got more traction. He's got more torque, it would appear, in the Jolas engine.
I think they'll just get another lap in after this, won't they?
Ish.
Oh, blimey, by the skin of their teeth, I think.
Yeah, close call.
So now on the faster parts of the track, you can see the Lynx starting to pull away from the Jolas. A better line, a better amount of speed through the double.
Quite demoralising now for Ivo Girkman, who's led most of the way.
Yeah. Because as we said earlier on, he wouldn't have known that Wilkinson was closing, and hardly got to see him. Suddenly he went past, he then got back in front, and now the gap's probably gone out to a second in the favour of Wilkinson in the space of a lap.
Wilkinson got fastest lap, a 1:28.344 last time through.
Gosh, that was more than a second better than his previous best, so poof.
It will be intriguing to learn the story of his race if Henry can speak to him after the finish.
Well, if he carries on at this rate and in this position, he will be speaking to Henry Hope Frost. Of course, the question is, will he be able to get another lap in 24 seconds until the checkered flag comes out?
He wants to slow it down, doesn't he? He desperately wants to slow it down.
But he can't afford to slow down very much, because right behind him is the Jonas, fired back 1.5 seconds or so. So no, he'll get this lap in. This next lap has to be at racing speed as well. 10 seconds to go. It'll be about 3 seconds. 4 seconds it was.
One more lap.
Yeah, one more lap. He goes on to the lap, and so does Ivo Girkman. Is there another surprise in store, or a bit of a twitch there from Girkman as he approached Madwick? Or is this it? Is this the finishing order? Wilkinson ahead of Girkman, both driven absolutely beautifully.
They're a long way clear of the rest, that's for sure. Taylor is back into third place.
It's been a good ding-dong. Let's see. Oh, yes, he's pulling off. Who was that pulling off in the background? That could have been Taylor. Let's see. Oh no, Taylor's still going there, ahead of that little group.
Yeah, they've done 13 laps.
Well, traffic has now...
Oh, it's Peter Fenichal.
Oh, Fenichal, okay. 1.4 seconds between first and second when they started this final lap, and it should be more than that now, because I don't think that the Jonas will be able to fight back, because there were 2 back markers. He's got past them, but they've delayed him sufficiently through Lavant to make the race safe, unless in the closing mile or so a problem will hit Andrew Wilkinson. You feel it would be very, very unfair if it did. He's coming down towards Woodcote for the final time.
This has been a sensational drive from the very back of the field by Andrew Wilkinson. He's just got to negotiate the chicane, keep it all nice and straight, don't get up on the curbs, and boot it for the line. Andrew Wilkinson from the back of the grid wins an enthralling Taylor Trophy Formula Junior race in the Lynx. It's an Australian car 1-2, because Ivo Girkman in the Jolas is second. They've lapped all the way up to James Owen there, I see, in the Elva, into third place. Waiting to see if it's going to be Taylor or Barry. And it's Taylor. It's Andrew Taylor's Cooper, number 37, in third place. The Cooper is third. Robert Barry's Lotus 18 is in fourth place. Fifth, sixth and seventh should be 18 Dan Collins in the Chapman family Lotus 18. Then is it going to be 71, which is James Hicks in the Caravelle, ahead of Ian Rowley.
That may change because Hicks did an incredibly slow previous lap.
He did, and there is James Hicks. He's made it back, and he has, with a much quicker lap, got through in sixth place. And is Ian Rowley going to be seventh in the number 39 car, the Kieft? Well, is he in this group of cars down at the chicane? There's a lot of cars down there. He's at the back of that group, and you know, strangely, he's been lapped by Andrew Wilkinson, and Andrew Wilkinson doesn't know that Andrew Wilkinson has missed the checkered flag in all his excitement. Wilkinson's done another lap and lapped Rowley at that in all that time, which of course doesn't really count, but amazing stuff.
Well, what an exciting race. I think Ivo Gertman deserves a pat on the back. He drove really, really well, but on today...
He didn't see the checkered flag either. And in all that excitement, neither of the first two spotted the checkered flag. There's a car pulled off over on the driver's right. That must be where Fenichel pulled off, the American who's the mentor of Harrison Scott, an up-and-coming British driver. And what a superb race that was. Absolutely brilliant. And a 1:28.344 is a pretty phenomenal time from Andrew Wilkinson. There's the Ram, Dr. David Drew. I'm just trying to see, looking back, how that time of Andrew Wilkinson's compares with previous races at the Revival, because it was a superb drive. Chichester Cup, let's have a look how the drum brake cars have done over the years. Well, the drum brake record in 2007 was James Hicks on a 1:29.7. Drum brake cars, a 29.4 was a record in 2010, and that was Ben Sims. Ben Sims. And in 2013, no, it wasn't as quick. So, in fact, that 1:28.344 is the fastest drum brake time we've ever seen around here at a modern era Goodwood race, by some margin, because the record previously stood at 29.444 to Ben Sims, who was a multiple HSCC champion. And there's the result then. Andrew Wilkinson first in 87, the Lynx from the back of the grid. Second, 49, Ivo Gertman in the Jolas. Third, 37, Andrew Taylor in the Cooper. Fourth, 31, Robert Barry, Lotus 18. Fifth, a similar car, number 18 of Dan Collins. Sixth, 71, the Caravelle of James Hicks. In seventh place, 39, Ian Rowley with the Kieft Ford. In eighth place, 27, James Owen with the Elva. In ninth place, 52, Martin Aubert with his Lotus. 10th, recovering from a spin, number 20, Lance Whitehead in Lotus 20. 11th, number 9, Andrew Hayden with the Envoy Mark II. And in 12th place, from the back of the grid, 42, Jeremy Dealey, Cooper T52. 13th was 40, Chris Wilkes with the Deke Sanderson. 14th was 33, Pat Barford with the De Sanctis. 15th was 30, Trevor Griffiths with the Emerson. 16th with the Tajiro with number 95, Anthony Goddard. 17th, 34 was Christopher Scoley with his Envoy Mark I. And in 18th place, number 38, Pierre Guichard with the Faccioli.